グレートがユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great.
That's excellent to hear. Excellent to hear. We are here with our episode number 118 for our AEW Dynamite review. And this was a pretty good episode of Dynamite here tonight, if I do say so myself. I wouldn't call it like an all-time great or anything like that, but it was just a very good, decent episode of Dynamite. And anytime I get to see Mark Briscoe now, I'm all in, man. Like, I love that guy.
I thought it was a really good show. I thought it moved, I think it moved some storylines forward. But I mean, overall, I think I agree with you. It was a good show. I think there were some storylines that I would have liked to have seen moved forward a little bit more than what happened to them.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode all around.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Hey, what up, Coog? How you doing? And Coach Nick in chat as well. What's up, guys? Welcome. So, there was a couple of things tonight that I did have a couple of small problems with, but we'll get to those when we get there. We started the night off with Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh versus Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, and... Wait, was it Danhausen?
No, it was, it was the
Why did I write Danhausen?
It was the acclaimed Orange Cassidy and Billy Gunn.
And Billy Gunn, yeah. I'm like, why did I write Danhausen? I'm sorry, it was Billy Gunn, Orange Cassidy, and the acclaimed. I'm glad I caught myself there. I was just like, what am I reading? In an 8-man tag match. Now, I thought this was a very good match here, but I did want to say one thing, like, if you're going to have the Acclaim come out for the first match and hold those viewers from the Big Bang Theory, I feel like the Acclaim's music should have hit first, you know what I mean? Just hit him with that rap right off the bat, and I think we would have got, a lot of viewers held over from the Big Bang Theory. What do you think about that?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that it makes a lot of sense for the Acclaim to go last because they have a speaking segment in their entrance. And I think that generally flows a little bit better into the ring. And the start of the match.
That makes sense.
I think Orange Cassidy is a draw. I mean, as we've talked about in the past, a lot of casual fans, a lot of people that don't watch wrestling, like when people do, I don't want to say like complete like studies because it's not that deep, but like when people that I've seen like talk to their friends or their family who don't watch wrestling and they show them wrestling, Orange Cassidy is usually one of the non-wrestling fans' favorite people. So I think that having Orange Cassidy come out is actually
that would have worked too. He could have came first too. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they wanted to have the heels first because it goes in line with Max's rap. I mean, it adds to the effect. So, I
good
get what
point.
you're saying, but I think
Very good point.
Everyone's entrance had a place for a reason. I did like that Orange Cassidy's entrance got a little bit of a tweak where like while Jane is starting up, it's just kind of yellow and red lights like kind of whirling around. I thought that looked really cool.
Yeah, that's a great point though. How you said the rap had to do with Jeff Jarrett, so he had to already be out there. That's a perfect point to counter my whole thought. So there we go. I actually thought this was a very classy rap from Caster. I thought he definitely toned it down quite a bit, because he did mention Jeff Jarrett's father passing away, and he called him a legend. And then he used it to kind of diss Jeff Jarrett, and I didn't have any problem with this. I'm gonna be honest. I think a few people might have, but I don't feel like I had any problem with that.
I think Jeff Jarrett wanted things to be as much business as usual as possible tonight.
Yeah.
He made that very evident, and Tony Khan made it evident too. He said that he wasn't going to make Jeff do anything he didn't want to do. Jeff insisted on being in Laredo and wrestling and going through the match. It's what he wanted. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, if that's what he wants to do, I mean, you're going to respect his wishes. And I think that it was done in a classy way. I understand some people could be upset about it, but it wasn't done in a way that I thought was poor taste. Max made it very clear, he was like, your dad was a legend, and he used that to go out of his way to shit on Jeff, which I think that's perfectly fine. I think it's perfect. I think it pays homage to someone who's passed, a legend in the wrestling industry, but also, he still has to sell this feud.
Yep, I agree. And Natasha made a great point as well. Having Jarrett come out first because his dad passed away. That's a good. That makes sense too.
Right.
So, good points all around. I really enjoyed when we got Billy versus Jeff in the ring. Just seeing those two, veterans together. Both of these guys. How old is Billy now? Do you know? He's in his 50s, right?
I think so.
And I'm assuming Jarrett's at least in his late 50s. To see these two guys still going like this at that age is great. You know what I mean?
It's kind of crazy that in 2023, Jeff Jarrett and Billy Gunn are like a main focal point of a wrestling, the wrestling promotion, and they're over. So it's like,
it's funny.
Yeah, but it's great.
Never would have guessed. But this was a great match. We had the Guns come out, not really for much of an interruption. They just kind of came out to come out and do the whole suck it thing, and they stood on the ramp for a while. Did you feel like the first half of this match was very chaotic? Like there was just a lot of, I couldn't tell who was the legal man. I couldn't tell who was tagging who here and there. But then they kind of cleaned it up, and it actually ended, really well, I thought.
I thought it was it was a fun match, and that was the intention. And these kinds of fun matches aren't always the most cut and dry, straightforward matches. At the end of the day, you have so many entertaining pieces like in motion here. You have the Acclaimed, you have Orange Cassidy, you have Sanjay Dutt, you have Satnam Singh, who's really entertaining too. Like all of these guys kind of playing off each other, doing their thing. You throw Billy Gunn in there, you throw Jeff Jarrett in there, the appeal of the two of them. Jay Lethal, you toss him in there too, and it's a really fun match. This was this was a lot of fun. This was a dream team, really. The Acclaimed and Orange Cassidy teaming up like that. I was super excited to see that, and I was definitely
absolutely. Now time out. Billy Gunn is 59 and Jeff Jarrett is 55. I would have bet you all money that Jeff Jarrett was older than Billy Gunn. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's crazy. It is insane. This guy is freaking jacked.
Wow, that blew my mind.
He was standing on the apron, and I was like, "My God, is he as tall as Satnam?" And he's not. It's close. Like it's not far off.
That's actually wow. That's crazy. So the Acclaimed wind up hitting Sanjay Dutt with the scissor me timbers, and I believe that's the first time that the scissor me timbers was a finish in a match. Can you remember another time that was the finish in a match?
Not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't think I remember any time, but I actually liked that when they hit it. I was like, oh, they hit it with Sanjay. Please tell me that's the end. You know what I mean? I was actually like hoping that was what they put for the end. So I actually enjoyed the finish there. Sanjay took the pin for the 1, 2, 3. This was great. You know what I mean? Everybody loves the Acclaimed. They're gonna get their rematch at whatchamacallit at Revolution in a 4-way now. They're invoking their whatchamacallit. I guess we get that later, right?
Yeah, we get that later.
Yeah. We'll go over that later.
Yeah. Something that I enjoyed is my favorite spot of the match, and Natasha just brought it up as well. the Shiver Me Timbers lead up, where at first Bowens was going to do it, and then Bowens gets knocked
Yeah.
down. And then you think Billy's going to do it, and then Billy gets knocked down. And then Orange Cassidy's like, yeah, I'll do it, man. And then he does his little kicks. And Max is like, this is great. Keep doing it, man.
Yeah,
and then
keep
he goes up
going.
to do it. I really do wish that Cassidy would have hit it, though. I admittedly, I really would have liked to have
Me
seen
too.
it. But no, he gets knocked down, but Bowens gets up there, they hit it, they get the win. And yeah, it was a really fun match, really enjoyable.
Yeah, it was that was the perfect word for it. It was very enjoyable. So next up we got a Bryan Danielson. He would beat him in a full-blown wrestling match, but you know, if we get some shenanigans going down, easily MJF takes out Bryan Danielson, right?
You're saying at Revolution?
At Revolution, yeah.
I will not be commenting on pay-per-view results, sir.
Well, of course, me neither. I'm just saying. So what I'm saying is Danielson's saying that nobody should believe that MJF can beat him. But I'm saying if you think about MJF cheating, you should think that MJF can beat him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, you know. How would you cheat in a 60-man Iron Man match? Or 60-minute Iron Man match?
I have a theory, but I mean, I'm not gonna do it right.
We'll save that for our prediction show.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
You finally gonna put that title on the line?
I'm a fighting champion.
All right. Next up, we had Mox and Claudio versus Roosh and Preston Vance in a Texas Tornado match, which started out in the audience because you know how Mox and Claudio come out from the audience. So Roosh and Preston attacked on the outside. We went through an entire commercial break before we came back and the match finally got in the ring and the bell rang. This was pretty decent. I liked how they kept showing Hangman backstage, kind of showing how he's like obsessed with Moxley right now because he didn't have anything to do with this match, like nothing. And he's still just back there obsessing, over Moxley. Is that how you were taking that?
Sorry, I was checking Twitter for something. What was it?
I'm just saying, how they have Hangman watching backstage. He had nothing to do with this match other than maybe he's like obsessing over Mox right now. Is that what it seems like they're trying to portray?
Well, when he got jumped by Kip and his guy.
Well, this is throughout the match. They showed him multiple times watching backstage, on the monitor. And I'm like, is he just obsessed with Moxley or, what are they aiming for with that?
Well, their feud's not over.
Well, according to Moxley, it's over, but we'll get to that later.
But it's actually not.
Yeah, it's actually not. I know.
No, so I had a big issue with the beginning of this match. I'm not usually a guy to knock the picture-in-picture, but why are you going to have a picture-in-picture completely cover over the out of the ring beginning of this match? I would have just went to commercial break after the first match. Like the first match ended at 8:15. I wrote this in my notes. The first match ended at 8:15, and then you do the Danielson promo, which is about 30 seconds. So, like, let's say you promote, and then you promote the next match. You could go to break 2 minutes early and come back and just have the beginning of the match uninterrupted. And I thought for me that was kind of a bit of a miss. But other than that, I thought this was a excellent match. It was violent. It was brutal. There was some really great storytelling. I really enjoyed Preston Vance getting some payback on Jon Moxley for those for 2 years ago when he was in the Dark Order and he was 10 and Mox basically just busted him open and just broke his arm or whatever the storyline was. I remember him getting like laying there in a pool of his own blood. This is right before Mox faced Brody. And yeah, I thought that there was some really great storytelling in this match and just seeing Preston Vance kind of get a little bit of payback here. Not enough payback, though, because the ending of this match was fantastic. You have Mox wrap a chain around Preston Vance's head, chokes him out, and he wins the match.
This was one of the first times that I have seen Preston Vance pull off something in a match that made me go, wow, that was fucking awesome. So the spot where we had Claudio and Roosh were both on the outside of the ring, and Moxley was standing on the side of the apron, and Vance spears Moxley through the ropes and takes out everybody on the ground as well. It wasn't like anything like incredibly amazing, but for someone of Preston Vance's size, and we've never seen him do stuff like that was awesome. I thought that was a really nice spot.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. And man, where do you think Vance got busted open at? I think Claudio busted him open with that chain hard way, because he was bleeding hard from somewhere inside his hairline, man. That was like gushing for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it happened during another commercial, didn't it?
It probably did, but I didn't see the blood until after. Remember when Claudio had the chain wrapped around his fist? He hit him like a whole bunch of times in the corner. And I was wondering if it may have been one of those, because he kept letting go of the chain. And I was wondering, like, maybe the chain kind of swung around and smacked him in the head, because he was bleeding good.
No, I mean, it looked great, though. But yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah. Natasha said there was a little bit of a botch that wasn't too great when Mox went to throw Roosh into the barrier. Yeah, I think that has to do with the new style of barrier, and Roosh was supposed to go head first into it, and he was like hesitant at the last second. I did see it, but there was a lot of hesitation, if that's the right word, at the first quarter of this match. But this match had an incredible second half and finish, man. Like you said, Mox putting that chain around Preston's neck and putting him into an armbar, that looked real. Like, if I was going to get into a fight with someone in a street and I had a chain, I've done jujitsu, that could actually be something that I wound up putting on somebody, you know what I mean? And it's a legit, like, it was legit. So that was really cool to see that be the end of the match.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had JR with Wardlow in a backstage segment. You know, Wardlow with his new haircut. I don't know, man. He looks a little goofy. Is that wrong for me to say? Like, I don't know what it is, but maybe just seeing him with that ponytail for so long or whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't like that hairstyle.
Well, I mean, I think you're overreacting a little bit.
I literally have a picture of myself in front of me with that hairstyle.
Right. I don't think it's necessarily a bad look. I would much rather focus on the brilliance of this promo, and how they made something in retrospect that seems so simple and so unimportant matter. Like something like, because we're talking about Joe, he cuts Wardlow's hair, and that's that's Wardlow's look. So we just, at the time, we think that it's just Joe just messing with Wardlow because that's his look. But Wardlow tells this story about his dad, and how he passed with cancer, and how he grew his hair out for his dad. And it's like that's beautiful storytelling, in a sense that it made something so simple, it elevates the storyline. You could see it as Wardlow's telling this story, and at the end, Wardlow's like, "This is like, you knew that." Like, Wardlow makes it clear, like, Joe knew what my ponytail meant to me. Like, it wasn't just a style that I chose; it was me honoring my father who passed.
You're right. He said we shared stories together. You're right. I didn't catch that. Oh, good point.
It moves into a territory where it becomes real heavy shit. And again, my hat's off to them. This is a extremely well done promo that adds, like, again, like, it takes something so minuscule. Like, I don't even know if this was the plan the whole time, but like, they were just like, we're gonna mess with Wardlow. What could we do? Like, oh, let's cut his ponytail. Like, that's his look. And then it's like, it's more than that. Like, it's him paying homage to his father who passed. And he's like, my dad got to go to my first indie show. I told him the kind of man I was going to be, and the next day he passed. Just, yeah, I mean, that's shit, man. That's great. That's excellent stuff.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had Josh Woods versus Mark Briscoe. And, I said it at the beginning. I absolutely love Mark Briscoe. I think my first sentence I wrote here is, "My God, I love Mark." His redneck kung fu and the mannerisms that he does in the ring, they're just so funny, and it's just it's professional wrestling the way that I want it to be. You know what I mean? It's almost goofy, but it's definitely not going too far in the goofiness. Like I love everything about Mark Briscoe, man.
Yeah, Mark's great. He's really entertaining, and it's great that he's on AEW television. It really sucks that what it took to get him there was what it was. But
Yeah.
if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Yep.
But this was a great match, a lot of fun. Lucha Bros, they returned tonight after dealing with visa issues that for some reason everyone in most people in the wrestling world were dealing with the past month. Even the Fed was having issues with travel visas. Not sure what the holdup was there, but Kenny was dealing with it. The Lucha Bros were dealing with it.
It's just all the countries are cracking down now,
I guess so. But no, this was really good. Really good
Yeah, I
match.
really enjoyed the Lucha Bros return there. It's been a while since we had seen them, so it was really nice to see them come out. They came out when Davari and Tony Nese attacked Mark on the outside while the ref was distracted by smart Mark Sterling. The Lucha Bros came out, saved him, gave a beat down to Nese and Davari. I was hoping we were going to get a match between them and Nese and Davari. Did they announce anything for Rampage? Is that...
I thought they were going to, but they didn't.
Oh, okay. We'll see. Maybe they'll announce it by the time we we go to get out of here, but we shall see. I was, because they said Lucha Brothers in action, and to me, a rundown to make a quick save, I guess technically that's Lucha Bros in action, but I don't count that. Do you?
Well, to be fair, they could have been on Elevation.
Perfectly fair. You could be 100% fair, but they were kind of advertising it like for tonight, on Dynamite, Lucha Brothers in action, but
They didn't say Dynamite. They said returning on AEW.
Okay.
It was a very interesting. Paraphrasing. I think it was more of a local advertisement that people were seeing.
Makes sense. Okay.
So I think that's why. Like, they weren't selling it to the TV audience; they were selling it to the Loretto crowd.
Okay, no worries. We had a really cool spot from Mark where he brought a chair into the ring and he started the clapping chants using the chair. The referee just, for whatever reason, just let him put the chair down, and Mark used it as a catapult to send himself flying over the ring with an awesome cannonball. Mark hits a huge froggy bow and picks up the win. So love seeing it. Absolutely love Mark. I hope they actually push this guy in some way. I'm really happy he's still carrying around that tag team title. Do you think we see Mark get a new partner? I really feel like he would have already relinquished the belt.
No, they wouldn't relinquish it yet. Well, so we know that the first Ring of Honor TV taping is set. They are going to be running out of Orlando. They are filming on the 25th and 26th, I believe, of this month. And then the first episode of Ring of Honor on Honor Club will be March 2nd on a Thursday. So they're going to be running on Thursdays, which was expected. I mean, we talked about it. I mean, with Elevation and Dark, you kind of saw it coming.
Yeah.
I would expect, especially considering they're ending March with Supercard of Honor, I would expect there to be some sort of storyline on Ring of Honor about what they're going to do with the belts. If I were them, I would do a tag tournament, and I would let Mark pick his partner.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And I would probably let Mark and his partner win the titles. But I could also see them going the route where Mark doesn't want to win the titles with anyone but his brother, and maybe they go a different direction.
Yeah, Natasha says, feel like they'll have a Ring of Honor tag team tournament and just have Mark present the titles to the winners. Like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And Ramit, childish storyline by AEW. AEW is, I'm assuming, boring. Now we leave to watch on our television. I'm assuming there's a language barrier there, but I don't really understand the point you're trying to make. It's definitely not boring to me, I'll tell you that much. What up, Jordan? Jordan says Mark got signed. Really? Did they put a is All Elite thing, or is he signed to just in general one of those all around AEW contracts?
Well, Mark's been signed.
Has he been signed? Okay.
Well, yeah, the Briscoes were both signed, even though they weren't allowed on TV.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up we had Renee Paquette with Adam Cole in a nice little interview here. It felt really real. I hate using the word real after really, but it definitely felt real. This was, this was Adam Cole speaking to you guys, letting us know, he's like, I can actually turn my right eye to the right and look and not have my eye twitch on me. And, I can do a whole bunch of things that a couple of months ago I wasn't able to do. So that was actually a really nice little interview there. I'm glad he's taken the time to, get everything all healed up, just like Kenny Omega did, and, come back at 100%, hopefully.
So even though Mark Briscoe was signed, Mark Briscoe did officially get an All Elite graphic.
Oh, he did?
Yes, it was just
Sweet.
tweeted out 12 minutes ago.
Ooh, I'll find it. All right. What do you think of this Adam Cole promo? It feels like they're positioning this guy to be a big time babyface now. Like big time.
Well, Jeff, there's something very beautiful at AEW and their storytelling that I just love that we talk about all the time here. And it is the subtleness and the pure art form that is foreshadowing. Because so Jeff, what happens in this segment is we see Adam Cole talking about where he's at. He's healthy. He's on the up and up. I would expect him to return at Revolution. That would be my expectation. But Renee asks, "Who do you want to face?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to say anything." And then they end the segment, and the commentary are like, "Yeah, I wonder what Adam Cole's plan is." And within a millisecond, whose music hits but one Maxwell Jacob Friedman's? And that, folks, was not a coincidence. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think the plan is for Adam Cole to be one of MJF's big challengers this year. I don't know if he's going to be the one. For me,
Okay.
there's three guys who I think are the guy that should beat MJF. Jeff, who do you think I think those three people are?
Let's start with Hangman Adam Page.
That would be one of them.
I mean, I'm just gonna kind of go with mine. So yeah, we'll stick with Adam Page. We'll go with Kenny Omega.
No, I don't think Kenny should beat him. But go ahead. Do you have any more guesses?
It's tough to figure out the next one, but I'm gonna go with a wild card and try to get in your brain and pick Orange Cassidy.
I knew you would, and I'd mark out, but no, I don't know if that's the play, unfortunately for me. The three guys that I really see a MJF losing to at the end of this year. Hangman Adam Page, because while MJF is the villain of AEW, Hangman Adam Page is absolutely the good guy. Natasha named another one of my picks, Adam Cole. I think that Adam Cole is a superstar who, unfortunately, last year kind of derailed for him due to injury because he was a part of the Owen and then he got hurt, and it was just this whole big thing where I feel like his momentum kind of died out. But obviously, I really do think Tony Khan thinks the world of Adam Cole, as you should. The dude's phenomenal.
You just mentioned the Owen Cup. When does that take place?
I think it happened. It happened in May last. Didn't it happen at Double or Nothing, or was it All Out?
I think it was Double or Nothing.
Yeah, right, because it happened before Forbidden Door.
Yo, that'd be a nice little push for Adam Cole to go win that again on his way to challenge MJF.
Maybe, but then Natasha also just named my last of my three choices, Jack Perry. I think Jack Perry. Specifically, I would go Jack Perry or Hangman. I think that those two guys really are they are the baby faces. Like those are two guys that they're going to have, be the future of this company on the babyface side. And I think that they both are just excellent. I think both of them are really strong candidates to do that. So those would be the guys I would go with. But who
Oh
knows?
my God. Did you read Coog's chat just now?
Switchblade
Could
versus
you
Cole.
imagine Adam Cole versus Switchblade at Revolution?
Well, he's getting kicked out of NJPW. He's done with New Japan, so I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I mean, he might sign with Banana Nose Circus. You never know.
Oh my goodness. I just, please, please. No, I don't know, dude. They would have to just be signing him to steal him from AEW because he is not their type of wrestler at all.
Absolutely, I'm not saying he is. What you just said is exactly the thing. We're in the middle of a wrestling war.
Yep.
WWE will sign literally anybody that AEW has interest in. I saw the funniest thing from this past Monday night. It wasn't on TV, or well, I mean, it might have been. But so they had Bronson Reed wrestling, right? And this guy comes out, and somebody took a video of the crowd. Not a single soul, and this guy panned the entire crowd at Monday night. Not a single soul was giving an ounce of reaction to Bronson Reed.
Did you see what happened right before he came out?
No, I didn't. I just saw that
So
clip.
they had Otis like standing there trying to be like a big tough guy,
Mm-hmm.
and Bronson Reed steps into the frame next to Otis and made him look like a little kid. And I think the crowd was just like, "Aw," like it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Jay White did concuss him. Which I don't know. They could do that match, and I'm not saying they won't. If he signs with AEW, then yeah, probably they would probably
Oh
definitely
wow,
do that.
you're right.
It's built in, but
I
we
was
don't know.
there, Coog. It happened at Forbidden Door, right?
It did.
Yeah. Coog says they'll give him a new name and dress him up like an English butler serving tea and crumpets.
You know, I think Coog would appreciate this, but do you know that it was 19 years ago today that the great Eddie Guerrero beat Brock Lesnar at No Way Out for the WWE Championship?
Nice.
And I thought to myself when I saw this, and I was like, that was like the last time I think that they actually like did something like that.
You know,
Like, because like think about it, it was the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and they had the champion drop the belt. I mean, obviously Brock left the company after WrestleMania, so there was reasons for it, but like think about that. Like somebody like Eddie Guerrero, which I love Eddie Guerrero. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but the way that that company would view someone like Eddie Guerrero, like beating Brock Lesnar, like for the world title a month before Mania, like that's kind of crazy if you think about it. Like you wouldn't think that that would happen in that company. It was 20 years ago, so.
Someone pointed something out to me today that kind of bothered me that I never actually realized. Every African American champion that the WWE has had has been defeated by Brock Lesnar in the time that he has been there.
I've seen that.
It's like, what the heck? I didn't even realize that. It's like, come on.
So Jordan in the chat is mentioning MJF's promo during commercial break. Don't worry, Jordan, I do have it.
Man, Coog, I remember the morning that I woke up like ready to watch Sunday Night Heat, and like my dad was telling me that Eddie Guerrero passed away. I was so sad, dude. It was like that was horrible.
Oh, it was a Monday.
Yeah, I think either he was on Monday Night Heat or he didn't show up to Monday Night Heat or Sunday Night Heat,
No,
something
so
like that. And then on Monday, I found out he had passed away.
yeah, I remember it was a weekday because I remember it so vividly because I was in middle school at the time.
Ugh.
And my friends and I, we were cool with one of the teachers. So for our lunch break, we would actually go up and hang out in his like classroom because he had the same lunch period as we did. So we would go up and we just kind of hang out on the computers. And I went online and it was like Eddie Guerrero's passed, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that was rough.
Oh, and then like I'll never forget, like that was like the first time like my parents knew about something wrestling related because like I got home and my mom was like, "Do you know who Eddie Guerrero is?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" Because
Yeah.
it was all over the news, and I was like, "What is going on, man? Oh man."
Yeah, I don't remember how
Eddie
old
would
I
have
was.
AEW. Like I am so convinced in the bottom of my soul that Eddie Guerrero would have fucking loved AEW. He would have
Oh
loved
yeah, for
everything
sure.
about it. Like, man.
All right. So as you said, MJF's music hits right after Adam Cole's promo, and this was hilarious to me because they kept on making it known that MJF was contractually obligated to be there. So when his music hits, Excalibur and Tony Schiavone are like, "Oh God, here comes this guy," and Excalibur's like, "Do we have to? Like, do we have to do this?" And Tony Schiavone's like, "Well, he's contractually obligated, so I guess we're contractually obligated." I got such a laugh out of that, like the the announcers thinking that they were contractually obligated just because MJF was. I was laughing for that. I thought it was great.
So during the commercial break, MJF has some fun with the crowd, Jeff, and I would like to tell you what happens during the commercial break.
Yes, do tell, because I did actually get up and run to the kitchen real quick, and Jordan definitely wants to know if anyone else saw that.
Yeah, well, so you even if you went to the kitchen, it was during the commercial break, and things were said, so you wouldn't have heard it anyway.
Oh, okay.
So during the commercial break, MJF, he goes over to a fan and his girlfriend. He gets a kiss on the cheek from the girlfriend, and then flips the boyfriend off. He walks around the ring a little bit more. A dude wants to take a pic with MJF. MJF says okay. As the dude holds his phone out, MJF grabs the phone and throws it. Another guy yells at him. MJF throws water in the guy's face. On the Fight TV feed, Excalibur and Tony, I guess Tony Schiavone, are going nuts at Taz for laughing at it. He gets back in the ring, and before they go back on a TV, he says, "Boo all you want. I don't give a fuck." And then he basically goes on to say that all of the kids in the crowd should have been aborted, but they're in Texas, so they weren't able to be. I actually have a video of it. I'm gonna send it to you, and if you want to pull it up and play it, it's like 5 seconds long. I'm gonna send it.
Oh my.
Hold on. I sent it to Jeffrey Vegas, correct? Because you're on your computer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sending it to you right now. It's not very long. It's like literally, it's 25 seconds. But here, you can do with it what you will. It's sending right now. But it is, yes, it was delightful, and like I've been saying it, but props to AEW, man. They're just making this guy, like, they know. They're like, we need this guy to be fucking nuclear heat, and they're like, just go out there. We're gonna give you a commercial break. Do whatever the fuck you need to do to get them to hate you. Like, whatever you have to do.
Holy okay, I didn't realize it was like full blown. All right, let's cut on over to the what do I got? Do I got a display here? Yeah, there we go.
You dumb, worthless, fat pieces of shit. We're not even on TV yet.
Holy
shit. All you want, I don't give a fuck. Oh, you don't like my language? What's the matter? Is it because we got some kids in the crowd? Yeah? Maybe if we weren't in Texas, they would have been aborted like they should have been.
Oh my
Why you keep your
god.
mouth shut?
Like, that's how you piss everybody off. That's how you piss everybody off. Because you piss off the people that don't want abortions to be a thing, and you piss off the people that do want abortions to be a thing.
Woo!
One of these days, man, I gotta get on the Fight TV thread, because you're missing stuff like that.
Holy moly. That was aired on Fight TV?
Well, the Fight TV.
There's no commercials, right? Yeah.
No commercials. So, like, even the commentary, I think you even hear the commentary just talking. Like, the team is just talking during the commercials. Like,
I would way prefer that over commercials.
Yeah, I know. But so that's what happened during the commercial break, leading into this segment by MJF, which I just thought was incredible. Absolutely loved it. This storyline that they're telling is just so damn good. It is such a good storyline. It's a shame that this is MJF's first storyline, because I really just don't see it going in Bryan Danielson's way. But man, like, this is such a great story. I love MJF calling the fans fickle. I like to think of that as a paying homage to Daniel Bryan calling the fans fickle when he was a heel.
Yep. Fickle.
That's how I looked at it. I loved how I don't know if you caught this because we talked about it on the show, but so MJF is saying you guys love Bryan Danielson because he's a great wrestler. He does the best moves because he puts on 5-star bangers. And when he said bangers, Taz laughed.
Taz giggled. Yeah, I heard it.
Taz hates the word banger, so we don't say bangers here anymore, because Taz doesn't like it. And then he calls himself the best in the world, and I got upset, And then, he says that he has somebody who can tell you the truth about Bryan Danielson, Christopher Daniels. And so he has Christopher Daniels come out after this excellent promo from MJF, just really good. Christopher Daniels comes out and he's like, "All right, Christopher, tell him the truth about Danielson." And Christopher Daniels is like, "I would just like to say that MJF paid me a lot of money. MJF paid me a lot of money to come out here and trash on Bryan Danielson, but I'm not gonna do it."
He's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, MJF's just mad. But what was MJF expecting? Like that's just desperate. Like in terms of a kayfabe sense, like the character is just so desperate to get people to shit on Bryan Danielson that he would pay someone who clearly likes and respects and admires Danielson. And Daniels goes on to say that, indirectly, Bryan Danielson plays a huge, and I completely agree with this, plays such a huge part in the creation of AEW because he wins the King of the Indies in 2001, which causes Ring of Honor to be formed, which the ripples of Ring of Honor causes AEW to be formed. And it's just like, it's great. I loved it.
Yeah, this was really good. Taz giggling at that was hilarious to me. When Christopher Daniels says, honestly, he's like, "Brian's gonna knock your dick in the dirt."
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's some shit that I used to say to people back in the day, like before we would get into a fight or something like that. I'd be like, "I'm gonna," that was like literally a sentence that I've used in my life. Like, I loved it.
Well, like that's becoming a thing now because Hangman said it a few weeks ago. And now,
yep, he did.
But yeah, no, this is great. And so MJF, he attacks and puts the salt of the earth on Daniels, and Danielson makes the save, and it was great. Loved it. It was awesome. Such a great story.
Absolutely loved it. I thought this was another amazing segment here. And, credit to MJF. That crowd was so hot against him, and he had to push his promo through it. Like, he didn't have time to stop and wait, for them to cool down. He just had to push straight through, and, they were giving it to him good. There was a couple of Hispanic chants in there. Coog, could you throw down in the chat what a couple of those chants were? I didn't catch most of them. But next up we had a promo by the Guns, the Gun Club. And I actually thought this was a really good promo by these two. It was just kind of the first time we've seen them, give like an actual real promo since they became the tag champs, and I thought it was decent. What'd you think?
They were talking to you, Jeff. They said not every story has a happy ending. Sometimes the bad guys win. That's what it is.
Yes, sir.
I literally wrote that in the notes. I was like, they're talking to Jeff.
All right, next up we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus the Machine Brian Cage.
Jeff, do you need a minute? Are you okay?
I do. I do need a moment. I do want to say I predicted this the moment that I heard the match was going to happen.
Well, obviously.
And I'm just as not okay with it now as I was not okay with it then. I'm sorry, man, but I cannot pin my champions to push mid-card guys. I can't do it right now. I just can't.
I don't know how many times we can talk about it. I mean, like, that's just what they're using Brian Cage for. The guy's having awesome wrestling matches.
Mm-hmm.
He's frequently featured on the show on a weekly basis. This man is wrestling on Dynamite weekly. Like, I just don't... I don't...
You gotta understand, I'm not looking at him as Brian Cage. I'm looking at him as one of the Ring of Honor Trios champions.
I just completely missed it, too. And Natasha pointed it out. How the hell are you going to call Jungle Boy Jungle Boy Jack Perry a mid-carder? The guy's not a mid-carder. He's a future... He's the future of the company. Like, this guy is going to be...
I 100% acknowledge that, but where are his matches at in the show? They are in the mid-card, so he's a mid-carder at the moment.
Yeah, but you use that in a derogatory word.
I did. I did use it as a derogatory at the moment. I did.
And I think that's a damn
It's
shame.
it's
I think what I put in the Discord is exactly how you are, and I think you gotta
Listen, I know the coach agrees with me here. I'm not talking about Brian Cage as the guy Brian Cage. He's a monster. I get it. Blah blah blah. We have pinned our Ring of Honor Trios champion multiple times, and for whatever reason, his partners are nowhere to be found to help him like they should be for a heel team. What's going on here?
because Jeff, Ring of Honor is not the same as AEW, and that's something you need to understand. They
But
are
Prince
owned-
Nana's there. That doesn't make any sense. The
Prince
whole
Nana
team
can do
should be
whatever
there.
he wants. He can go anywhere. He can show up right. Hey, Prince Nana, come on in here. He could be here right now. Like that's
True.
It's Prince Nana. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
He's got that diplomatic immunity, you know. He can just
Exactly.
wherever he wants to
Now
go,
you
I guess.
Now you understand. Anyways, no, Jeff, you're still upset about this, and I'm going to say the same thing I say every single week. He is not a singles champion. It is okay for him to lose singles matches. It is a great way to build credibility. He's having excellent matches with Bryan Danielson, Jack Perry. This guy is a featured character on this show week in and week out. There are people that would fucking murder somebody to get Brian Cage's spot right now.
I do like what Natasha said. So the Ring of Honor guys are kind of showing up just like an NXT guy would on Raw or SmackDown. That makes some sense. I like that comparison. I do.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to see Ring of Honor guys jumping ship all the time and just beating AEW guys. Like,
yeah, and you got to understand where I'm coming from. Like, you remember how I used to complain about the WWE pinning all their champions all the time? So I can't like let it slide over here as well. You know, I used to complain about that a lot.
I can understand that, but it's not the same thing. Like, for example, if one of the because like we'll just go with this. I would not be upset if. Actually, I don't want to say Madcap Moss because I would be upset if Madcap Moss did anything worth.
What the hell is a madcap?
I'm still trying to figure that out. If Kevin Owens beat one of the Usos in a singles match, well, they're the tag champions. He beat a champion in the company, but they're not singles champions. They're the tag champions. Dax, Cash, same thing. It happened all the time last year. You're just not remembering that these things happen all the time, and it's okay. It's one thing for like a multi-man champion to lose singles matches, but it's another thing if like Orange Cassidy or Joe were losing singles matches. It's just not the same thing. It just really isn't. Like, you won't see, for another example, while we're at it, Top Flight beat the Bucks. The Bucks are the trios champions, but what did they lose in? They lost in a tag match. They did not lose in a trios match. You have to understand that in the kayfabe, Jeff, these different types of matches require different strategy. A singles wrestler will not always translate well into a tag environment, and vice versa. It's just kind of how the kayfabe, the psychology of the world of pro wrestling inside the universe works. And it's okay for a trios champion to lose singles matches. It's okay.
All right. Well, I feel like you guys have talked me into it. I'm slightly okay with it now, but
look, I'll say this:
if it happens again, I'm gonna flip out.
I know you're a Brian Cage. I'll say this: this man has been featured on TV weekly for months at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
He has been on TV every single week. He faced Takeshita. He faced Danielson. He faced Jack Perry. He was, I think he faced Darby. No, Wardlow. He faced Wardlow. Like, this man has week in and week out been on TV doing stuff of worth. So, like, I'm sorry, but you can't just say, oh, well, he's lost every match, so it's a waste. Like, no. Like, again.
No, I don't think it's a waste. I just don't like seeing champions of any kind being pinned. That's all. So I don't think it's a waste or anything like that. And I agree. He's been featured a lot, especially this year, you know, so I'm happy he's in the ring. It's just kind of, I don't know. It feels like they've done it too many times.
Wrestling all the time. I don't know why, but this is just a random example that popped into my head. But remember when right before Thunder Rosa won the title, I think if I recall correctly, Britt Baker lost a tag match like the week before. Like she lost that match. That's a champion losing a match, but it wasn't a singles match. So it doesn't necessarily muddy the waters of the following results. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different divisions.
Yeah, I got you.
But okay.
So, Jungle Boy does pick up the win here with his new finisher, the cutting elbow to the back of the head. Did they mention what he calls it? Did he give it a name or anything like that yet?
I missed it if they did.
Yeah, I don't. If they said it, I missed it as well. Maybe somebody in chat, if you guys heard what Jungle Boy calls the new, elbow slice to the back of the head. But as he's walking up the ramp, Jungle Boy, Christian Cage's music hits, and he comes out onto the ramp with his, his shoulder sling on. And I think I got a hot take coming here, dude. Jungle Boy goes to attack Christian completely unprovoked. And as he should have, Christian Cage defended himself with a can of mace. A Christian Cage wearing a shoulder brace, by the way. So Jungle Boy is attacking a poor, helpless, defenseless, injured man. Unprovoked. He didn't do anything to him.
Oh.
It's been months since these two have seen each other, first of all. That is unprovoked, right? That is unprovoked assault, sir.
Hold on.
And he deserved every bit of that pepper spray he took to the face.
I'm out. This
2023, baby. Attack somebody unprovoked. Shh.
This man, Christian fucking Cage, has, number one, said that I'm glad your fucking dad's dead. I want to fuck your mom. He turned his best friend against him, cost him the tag titles, and you call this fucking unprovoked? Last time that Christian Cage was on TV, Jack Perry got fucking wrecked. So, like, what are you talking about unprovoked?
Would the officer of the law accept any of that in the assault charges, sir?
Probably, but except for the fact that this is fucking pro wrestling.
I've been waiting all night for that segment, bro. I was like, Jungle Boy deserved everything he just got.
No, none of it. This is great. I'm happy Christian's back, and all I could think about, Jeff, was the fact that CM Punk had a very similar injury to Christian Cage.
Yes, he did.
And so, like, I would think that just means that he might be coming back. I don't know how this audio sounds with me talking into the mic this way. But I mean, like, I miss my boy, man.
I'm wearing my CMFTR outfit, bro. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I miss my guy, man. It was my guy. Like,
me too, bro. Me too.
I was mad.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that they've been talking about him more and more on YouTube. So,
yeah, I hope. I mean, I really hope that everybody can kind of just figure it out and just do business. I think you're making a huge mistake if you're just going to refuse to do business. Natasha said it too. Yeah, I noticed that as well. They said best in the world a lot tonight. Who will be the first Mexican-born AEW champ? Phoenix, Rouge, Penta, Bandito? That's a good question. I would probably say Phoenix.
I'm in for Bandito. You want to give Bandito the TNT title? I am 100% in on that.
He meant like AEW World Champ.
Are you talking like World Champ? Okay. Yeah, yeah. I still go Bandito.
So I mean,
maybe Penta.
I don't know. I hope that everyone can kind of just figure it out and do business. Meltzer's saying that it's not going to be the case. Meltzer's saying that Tony's going to have some rough decisions to make coming up. That people are going to leave. People are going to be very unhappy if Punk gets let go, but other people are going to be really unhappy if Punk returns. I just got to say, and I will say it, like, I do think Punk was wrong at the Brawl Out. I really do.
Of course.
He was in the wrong. He was absolutely in the wrong. I will also, though, absolutely hold it against a lot of people who I have a lot of respect for if they do this. If they don't do this. If Kenny, if Jericho, if the Bucks, if they're just not willing to fucking print money and put your company on back, like continue to put your company on the map and do what's best for the company, like I'm sorry, like I'm that's not me leaving AEW or checking out AEW, but I'm definitely going to be disappointed in those guys. Like, because here's the thing: if all of those guys, because contract season's coming up, if Kenny and the Bucks are like it's us or him, I would choose them for the sake of the company. I think that Kenny and the Bucks can offer more to the company due to the fact, number one, there's three of them, and that you can do a lot more with the three of them as opposed to just CM Punk, who's a lot older than all three of them, if I'm not mistaken. And plus, like, they are all Elite Wrestling. Kenny Omega and the Bucks are all Elite Wrestling. So I would take them in a heartbeat over Punk. That being said, I would be extremely disappointed in them from a wrestling perspective to not be willing to just make the money. Like, you don't have to be friends. Like, just that would make it even better if you didn't like each other. Like, that would just make
Listen,
imagine those promos. Imagine the promos between Punk and the Bucks, where it's just like these guys legitimately fucking hate each other, and like they're just gonna go, they're just gonna say whatever. Like, that's the way to do it, man.
so the way that I'm looking at it is, if Punk is willing to let bygones be bygones and the Elite are not, like if they're literally like, no, we don't want him back, we don't want anything to do with him, I'll lose a lot of respect for him. I get it, you guys had a backstage locker room fight. That shit happens. Like, if we can't make money off of this situation eventually, there's something wrong. So I would lose a lot of respect for the Elite if they forced him out the door. But I would need to know both sides of the story. You know what I mean? Like, I would, that's probably 2 or 3 years out. You know what I mean? To hear the real full story.
To be honest, I think we pretty much have just about the full story. I think what we have is out there.
I'm talking about the way that Punk feels right now and the way that the Elite feel right now. I just get rumors from Dave like, oh, the Elite don't want to talk to him. They want nothing to do with him. And I'm just like, I don't know if I believe you, you know?
No, to be fair, also, I don't know if I believe Dave either. I mean, there's a very high chance where like they maybe were like, hey, Dave, like this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I'm not even sure if that's the point Coog was trying to make, but the Bucks are very, religious. They're very into Jesus, man, and he's all about forgiveness. So like, it would be very awkward for them to not forgive Punk for what happened, and try to make amends.
Honestly, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm just flying everybody out to the nicest fucking resort in the world, a weekend away, like, and just the 5 of them, like just Tony, Punk, the Bucks, Kenny, just a weekend away, and like just fucking just hash it out, man. Natasha doesn't trust a thing Meltzer says. I trust Meltzer about a lot of things. But I also think that at the end of the day, Dave is a mark, which there's nothing wrong with being a mark. But I think Meltzer gets told things, and
I used to like fully trust Dave and everything he said, but yeah, I'm like 75%ish on him. If he says something, I'm like, okay, but I still doubt what you're saying until I get it, for real from somewhere. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Dave.
The thing we gotta understand is that the wrestling media, they talk to people in the business, and
they only report what they hear from somebody. So like when they get told something wrong, it makes them look wrong. So
yeah, absolutely. But that's why, like, I never really hold it against them. Like, the people that clearly have connections, even if they don't always get it right, I generally do trust them because I do think they're just reporting what they're being told. So, like, if Dave Meltzer he says something, I do believe that Dave Meltzer was told that.
Yes. I only hold it against SRS because he's just such a smug douche. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, SRS is so, like, this dude is such an annoying follow. Like, like, here's the thing, right? Like, I follow him and I follow Fightful. I think that as a company, Fightful does an outstanding job, and I'm happily
100%.
I'm very happy that like I get my money's worth as a $5 a month customer. I absolutely do. But like, man, this dude on Twitter, like, I don't understand this guy. Like this guy is such a he's so annoying.
Yeah, I dare anybody to turn the bell notifications on for Sean Ross Sapp for 24-hour period.
He just fights with people, and it's like, bro, like, it's the internet. You can't just interact with all the people that shit on you. Like, it's the internet. Like, just don't do it. And then he just like he gets like really like I don't know, man. There's something that like sometimes like when you're on a podium or you know what I mean, like you have like a fan like a following, kind of shitting on the people that hate on you is like I don't know. It's not. It's punching down. Like this random dude on the internet like said,
Yes.
"John Ross Sapp, you suck," and then you screenshot it,
Yeah.
quote tweet it. Like, bro, it's not worth it. Like, just let the negativity go. Like, it's just not a healthy way to live. Like, I don't even like. I don't hate the guy, but I hate the way he tweets. Like, it's such a
Dude,
bad Twitter follow.
the first time I followed him, somebody's like, he's a good, I think it was you. You were like, he's a decent follow. So I followed him, but I also hit the bell. In like
Oh.
4 hours, I had like 150 notifications. I was like, what the hell?
No, I was saying he was a good follow because of wrestling news.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I took it. You know what I mean? But I think I accidentally hit the bell along with the follow. He tweets like every 5 minutes arguing with somebody or just random shit. It was so... Yeah, Coog, that's what I meant. I was like, he's a smug douche. Yeah, snobby frat boy. That's exactly what he comes off as.
He picks fights with like just the worst of these influencers, like Vince Russo and Disco Inferno. Like, and here's the thing: he's 100% right that these guys are fucking garbage. But like, stop giving them the fucking views. Stop giving them stop amplifying their message. Like I tell you all the time, Jeff, just let the shit fucking drift away into obscurity.
Feud with us. Help us out, not those douchebags.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But like, so it's like he's a bad follow. If this guy were to ever leave wrestling media, right, instantly unfollow. Like milliseconds later, I'm unfollowing this guy. Like it's a bad follow. It's a really bad follow.
All right. Man, where were we in this? We got to.
So we got done the Jack Perry match, and next up was the Revolution announcement about the tag titles. It was announced that the Guns will be defending their tag titles in a 3-way dance. There will be a Battle Royal next week, and then a Casino Royal match the following week to set up the 2 challengers for the tag titles. The Acclaimed show up and say that they are revoking their rematch clause, and it will now be a 4-way dance. Anthony Bowens does say, bring anyone you want through the forbidden door.
This is going to be good.
It's going to be really good. Coop's right, by the way. Watching JD and SRS going at it was great. It really was.
Jordan says he got Conan and Disco to make a 10-minute video about your email today. Really? That was your email, Jordan? See, that's where, like, I love Conan, but I hate Disco so much, and Conan defends him so much. I'm just like, sorry, Conan, I can't.
Conan's weird, man. He makes some really, like, he picks some really weird sides, and I guess it's because he used to share locker rooms with these guys back in the day. Like, with Disco, they were in the WCW locker room together. But it's like, man, Conan, you're kind of whack sometimes, bro.
Yeah, I just, he's like the only guy on the planet defending Disco, so...
Yeah,
all right, next up, we had the Elite promo on All-Star Weekend. This was amazing. Nick was palming a basketball with one hand. I did not know Nick had big hands like that, because that is not easy. AR Fox and Top Flight show up, and apparently something happened here in this that I missed. I was kind of writing some stuff down here. Rome, what is it that we missed, or I missed?
So, Old Man Jeff, I
was writing stuff down. Come on.
The eyes just don't see things sometimes. And I am sending you some images that flashed on the screen during the promo. So you can go and check out Discord and pull those images up for everyone if you'd like.
So these, like, in the middle of the promo just flashed onto the screen?
Yes, what you're seeing is what was on the TV screen.
Okay. That's definitely House of Black.
It is. In fact, here's a 1-second clip of exactly where it happens. And you're going to be like...
The second one gives me... This just gave me goosebumps, dude. It looks like somebody with their knees bent backwards like a freaking demon. Like a goat demon.
This is 1 second long, this video, by the way, but you can see exactly how quick it was. And you're going to be like, how was I supposed to see that? I was like, well, I saw it.
Dude, I literally just got goosebumps and chills off of this second picture with that ghost, the goat demon. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Making
ahead
my
and play
eyes
that.
water.
Play that 1 second clip.
You threw a clip too? Hold on, let me find it. Oh,
It's
there it is.
literally 1 second long.
See you guys.
All right, so let me go back to the display. Oh, it's definitely House of Black, Coog.
See you guys.
Whoa, that was fast. That's less than a second. That's
I
like
saw it and I was like, wait a second, what was that? And I paused it and rewound it.
that's only like 3 frames.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the screen. I was like, what the fuck was that red flash? I was like, was that my TV? And then I went back and I actually paused it and I found those images I sent you were better quality. I took my own pictures, but
So
yeah.
people on Twitter, I'll admit, I tried to go see what you were talking about, but I couldn't find anything other than people saying somebody in the promo was twitching. Did you catch that?
I didn't catch that, but yeah, man. So that's why I do think CM Punk comes back. I hope he does, but I don't know if it like when he comes back, that's the feud, him and the Elite. But I think we're gonna get the House of Black first versus the Elite.
Oh yeah, that was definitely House of Black in that first photo. Every time I think of that second photo, I get goosebumps. That's crazy. Ugh, all right. Let's go to chat real quick. So Natasha says she didn't see it, but that happens a lot of times because your brain crops it out. Yeah, I mean, it happens so quick that if you blinked at that moment, you didn't see it. Like, that was about as quick as a blink. Coog says that's like Captain Howdy, The Exorcist 1973 flashes, not the other Howdy from Connecticut. Natasha says we actually did an experiment on that in chemistry in high school. Watched a video and half the class missed a straight up gorilla walking in the back. Yeah, you know, your eyes focus on a lot of stuff and you miss all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a great promo by the Elite there. I'm really fascinated in the name of this Rampage being Slam Dunk and them being kind of featured for this All-Star weekend with TNT having the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah.
Just another showing of Warner having some faith in AEW, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. Next up, we had Kip Sabian versus an absolutely pissed off Hangman Adam Page. You know, they were wondering whether he was okay and he was going to make his way to the ring for this one, but as soon as you saw him, he looked pissed. And, you know, I kind of thought he was going to come out here and just beat Kip's ass, which he kind of did, but they did let Kip get in quite a bit of offense. Went through a whole, you know, commercial break. I thought this was a great match. You know, just there wasn't any sort of spots or anything like that to kind of write down. It was just a basic Hangman Kip Sabian match, but Hangman hits the Deadeye and picks up the win. No buckshot lariat necessary. And Moxley and the entire Blackpool Combat Club show up. And immediately I looked at the wife and I was like, God damn it, Dark Order's showing up now. And she looks at me and laughs. And I was like, if they show up, it better be good. I was like, if they show up and this is stupid, I'm going to be so mad. Because you know, we've talked about this. You know, the Dark Order has definitely gotten stale. I'm not a fan of them with this whole friendship thing with Hangman, but as you can see, I'm a huge Evil Uno fan. I was a massive Dark Order fan. I am still a card-carrying member. And man, Evil Uno comes out in a full purple suit, looking absolutely incredible here. And I loved every single moment of this. Hangman is looking at them like, what are you guys doing out here? And Uno just walks right past him, like gives him a little bit of an elbow, little shoulder bump, like, I'm not talking to you. My cat's trying to bite me right now. I have no idea why. I thought this was incredible. This is what the Dark Order needed just to give them a little bit of something. Uno gets right into Moxley's face and cuts a great promo. I got to know what you thought of this because I know you've been down on Dark Order for a long time here, so got to know what your thoughts are.
Well, I started off with a laugh because the Dark Order came out to what I perceived as zero reaction. I was like, there you go, Loretto. There you go. No, I'm conflicted because as I've said, I think the Dark Order, in terms of talent, extremely talented, including the guys that are left. I think Uno is phenomenal. I think people forget that Uno is a great promo when you let him be this kind of evil Uno. When you let him be the guy in the suit and you let him do his thing, it's really well done. And it was great. I loved it. Thought he was very good. I loved him telling Hangman to get out of his face and get out of his way. That being said, on a purely on the level that is my soul, the Dark Order just wants me to not have all the things that I want. And that makes me dislike them naturally. Mox talks about, like, I want to go down a dark alleyway with you, and only one of us comes out. And I'm like, yes, please. And, like, Hangman's like, I need some friends. Maybe I'll get back with my old friends. And I'm like, yes, please. And the Dark Order doesn't want any of that to happen. So, I mean, for me, naturally, I'm going to be against the Dark Order. But no, this was really good. It was really good. It's definitely the best the Dark Order's done in a year and a half.
Let's explore these things that you want a little bit. So what if the Dark Order turns on one Hangman Adam Page, and Page needs to go find his real friends, and you do get what you want?
Well, I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. That would be great. Again,
you'll get to see the Elite kick the shit out of the Dark Order. You know, win-win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I understand it's a storyline. No, this was great. I definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely the best thing the Dark Order's done in a while. Like I said, probably a year and a half. Apart from Preston Vance leaving the Dark Order, this was great.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It's kind of funny. One of my favorite parts of this was that they didn't put Johnny Hungy on the mic.
No, you can't. You can't do that. Don't do it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, I was just like, thank God.
You need to be serious.
So this was great. I thought this was fantastic. Hangman versus Mox is going to be awesome. And next week, I believe they said we're getting Mox versus Evil Uno. So
yes,
hell yeah. All right, next up we had the Jericho Appreciation Society with Tony Schiavone in a promo on Ricky Starks. Now here is where I kind of want to say a big problem with what was said. So Jericho's like, you're not getting any more matches. You've already lost your matches against me. This was almost exactly what Moxley just said to Hangman. How did these go back to back?
Well, we should have touched on that too. I actually really love the dynamic between Mox and Hangman.
Yeah, me too.
Mox doesn't think he has anything else to prove, and Hangman does. We didn't really talk about that because we talked about the Dark Order. Really loved the Mox Hangman segment that went down before this.
Yes.
But we moved forward. Moving forward, I have literally, and this is probably, I don't know if this is a first, but I have literally zero things to say about this JAS segment. So I'm okay just to move.
That's how I feel too. But I was actually like, for the first time in a long time, I was like, what the hell? It was literally, Jericho said almost word for word what Moxley had just told Hangman. He's like, we've already had our matches. I beat you. You lost. You're not getting another match. It was the same thing. I was like blown away. I was like, I don't know. It really bothered me that those two segments were back to back like that.
Yeah, like I said, I have nothing to say about the segment.
We will just move on.
I watched it and I was like, I'm not writing any of this down. I have nothing to say.
Yeah, didn't care. Next up, we had Stokely Hathaway and Tony Schiavone with the rest of the firm there. He says Hook broke his arm and he deserves justice. And he was on the phone with
Al Sharpton
and Jesse Jackson and, those guys. this was what it was here. You know, Matt Hardy looked all amped up.
All for Cass or Zay, and then
Yeah.
Zay, and I had him, and then he does the mode in the Stokely's ear. It's so good, like it's so funny. I really enjoyed it. But so Hook gets suspended, pending an investigation about Stokely's broken arm, which clearly it's not broken. And I feel like I know where this storyline's going. I feel like what's going to happen is Matt's going to throw another party, and Stokely's going to be at that party, and he's going to get exposed that his arm was actually not broken. So Hook will be reinstated. That would be my assumption of where this storyline is going based off the context clues. AEW best take forever.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
That's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, like they're gonna throw another because like it's the man. I just actually heard a name for this. It's Chekhov's gun. Have you ever heard of this?
I have, yes.
It's a Chekhov's gun situation where, like, why would they mention that Matt Hardy threw a party last week that Stokely wasn't at? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something to that. So I feel like, oh, he's suspended pending an investigation, and what's going to happen is Matt Hardy's going to throw a party, and Stokes going to be at the party without his cast, and then somebody, Matt Hardy, but somebody is going to send the pictures of Stoke not injured to Tony Khan, and Tony's like, well, you're not injured, so Hook is no longer suspended. That's going to be the storyline. Book it.
That'd be cool. Maybe Hook shows up to the party and like puts Stokely through a table or something. Show up.
We'll see. That was good. I like this segment. It was funny. It was fun.
Yeah, it was great. All right, and next up, it was time for the main event. We got Ruby Soho versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Tony Storm in a three-way dance. I actually loved this. I loved that they gave this the main event. I thought that all three of these ladies had a great match here. There were some really cool spots in it. I'm not too sure how I felt about Saraya spray painting the L on Tony Storm's ass and then her doing the hip attack. It was very creative, but at the same time, while she was doing the spraying, it just did not come across correctly to my eyeballs. It was hilarious is all I could say, but I loved this whole match, man. This was fantastic.
I did too. I love the match itself. I love the story that's being told in the match. I loved how they had a plant at the beginning of the match with the fan. Thought that was really cool. They don't do that super often, so that was fun. And I love the storytelling of the match where, Ruby has to pick a side and she's on her own side. Love the match. Love the finish. Love everything about it. My only gripe with the match in general, and I mean, we have to let it play out and see what happens. I didn't like how this story did not progress in what I thought was going to be a big progression point for this story. We by the end of the show, this storyline is exactly in the same place it was before the match started. Which I was kind of like, well, that kind of felt like filler. Which, like, this match felt so important, it felt like it shouldn't have been filler. This was a match that they had to rebook because Britt was injured a few weeks ago. Like, they really felt like they had to redo they had to do this match. So I was like, oh, this has to be... Yeah, Natasha said it. I don't care what side she picks. Just pick the side. Yeah, I do agree with that. It was kind of just like, all right, so, like, what... In terms of the storyline, like, you gave them the main event. You had a late commercial break, too. And I said that in the Discord. Like,
Yeah.
They don't usually go on commercial at, like, 9:55. Like, they usually go at, like, 9:50, 9:51. And then you have, like, 8 or 9 minutes of the show. So I'm like, oh, they're going late tonight. They did a late commercial, so they're going to go late. So that way they can get right into Power Slap and give extra time to Power Slap or whatever. I was like, this is all setting up for some big angle. And it just didn't happen. Ruby ends up winning the match, and she still didn't pick a side. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, it just felt like filler. It wasn't bad. It was just filler when I expected this to be something of importance. Not even like
So
I did say in the Discord, like I kind of hinted like, oh, maybe we'll see somebody return or debut tonight.
yeah.
Like not that I 100% thought that was going to happen, but like at least have Ruby pick a side tonight. Like I thought this match was going to end with like Ruby aligning with Tony, and like yeah, Ruby can win the match, but I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way because while I do appreciate long-term storytelling, I really do. Obviously, AEW does it very well. I still need to see some sort of continuation of like a progression of the status quo. And we didn't get that. We just, oh, what side is Ruby on? By the end of it, it's like, yeah, what side is she on? Like it didn't further question it either. You know what I mean? It's like it'd be one thing if there was like some sort of dilemma during the match that caused it to be like, oh, I don't know what Ruby's gonna pick. Like, no, she kind of went after both of them. The match started.
Yeah.
She was kind of avoiding Britt, but by the end of the match, she's just fighting both of them. And I don't know, man. I was just kind of like, clearly she's going to pick a side. Because if she's not picking a side, why are you doing this? Just move on. I don't know. It was just, yeah.
Well,
I mean, I was disappointed with the ending of the show, just because I
so
just thought we were gonna go somewhere and we didn't go anywhere.
I actually felt like we got a little bit of some hints that she did pick a side. Obviously she wound up pinning Britt Baker, but she was going after, both ladies evenly throughout the match. There was no choosing sides or anything in the match.
Okay.
But if Saraya and, Tony Storm are trying to get her to join their side, all she did was throw Tony Storm out of the ring. Then she gets the pin on Britt.
Sure.
And then we get a little bit of a face-to-face with Jamie Hayter, and she goes and does the whole belt thing. I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, she just pinned Britt, and she's making the motion of I want the belt. To me, I think she just picked her side. But I get it that we're not supposed to actually think that. Like,
well, no. So the reason I see why you would think that, but the reason why, like, the point you're missing is that at the end of the show, it's not just Jamie in the ring. Saraya's in the ring too, and Ruby yells at both of them to stop. She's like, "Knock it off!" to both of them.
Yeah.
And exactly, Natasha's right. She threw Tony out of the ring, but it was on to Saraya.
True.
Again, it was just a very weird, where it's like usually it'd be like I didn't need Ruby to pick a side tonight, but I needed the storyline to progress in some sort of way where maybe you had Ruby questioning things, or maybe you had Ruby leaning a certain way, and whether you swerve or not, that's another situation for another night. But we went into this match where Ruby was leaning a little, like Ruby was in the middle, not really on a side, and we ended the show in the exact same situation.
Well, I mean, I can agree with that. We're in the same situation as far as what side she's going to pick, but I do feel like we progressed Ruby herself a bit. We gave Ruby a nice clean win over Britt Baker and Tony Storm, both former champs, and she made it clear she wants to go after the title. So I feel like she progressed in that way, but I completely agree that this storyline of whose side is she picking, that didn't progress at all.
Right, and that's great that Ruby picked up the win. Honestly, and I don't want to say this to devalue Rampage, but I'm going to. This match should have been on Rampage.
Okay, maybe.
It should have been on Rampage, because here's the thing, like, while yes, Rampage on the better episodes, it does progress a story. At the end of the day, Rampage is one thing. Its primary focus is to be a fun hour of wrestling. This was a very fun match. This match should have been on Rampage. It doesn't do enough to progress the story. Like, if you ask me, you're like, Rome, I only have enough time to watch one AEW show a week. What show should I watch if I want to see story progression? It's Dynamite. You want to watch Dynamite. That's the show. Dynamite is the A show. It is their flagship product. But you gotta progress the storyline. And I understand Ruby progressed the character. She did she did pin Britt clean, and that's great. And she beat her and Tony clean in a 3-way dance. That's great. I don't think that world title of Jamie Hayter's is gonna Like, I mean, obviously it's going to play in at Revolution, but I mean, maybe that's the play then. Maybe Ruby challenges challenges Jamie. Maybe Ruby beats Jamie, or
You know,
maybe Jamie gets cost the title by Ruby. I don't know. I
I
just think
really do think I really do think that we're supposed to be leaning towards what did they call them? The freelancers?
yeah, they did drop that name freelancer.
Yeah, I really think Ruby might be leaning towards the freelancers now. I think we're supposed to think that just a tad because of her going
I don't
after the
think so at
belt.
all. I don't think watching that at all did I get that, because the match very clearly throughout it, she is kind of trying to avoid her fighting Britt.
Oh yeah, you're definitely right, you know.
Like, again, like, I don't know.
I just feel
Not
like
a
it's
bad match.
insinuated along with challenging for the belt, you know.
Yeah, again, it's not a bad match. It's a great match. And I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, as it usually happens when I have an issue with an AEW storyline, very often in the next week or two is it remedied, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that
Exactly.
makes
Yep.
sense now. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, we're reviewing the show here on February 15th, and it's 11:33 p.m. Eastern. The show ended an hour and a half ago, and I'm sitting here like, well, what was the point of that match in terms of a story progression? There was no point. They didn't have,
Well,
like,
yeah.
story
I
would
don't
have been
think they
the
meant
exact same spot if they didn't do the match. So it's like,
yeah.
okay. Like, I agree. I mean, yeah, Ruby pinned Britt, and that's great for Ruby. But
So what if we do a storyline here where Ruby is going up against Jamie for the championship and she still hasn't picked a side? Like, let's say Tony Storm and Saraya come down to try to help her win, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want your help." And then Britt comes and, like, you know, maybe we do something like that, and you know, maybe we're not meant to know what side she chooses until in the middle of the match, you know, or maybe something like that.
maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens again. Like, I have faith that AEW will tell a good story in the long run. But,
Agreed.
you know, right now, I'm like, that match could have been on Rampage.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you on that. Like, maybe if we got a big surprise at the end, or if there was some sort of shenanigans, this fit Dynamite. But I think the clean win does kind of just kind of say, you know, scream a little bit of Rampage. You might be right there.
Nothing happens. It's just nothing
Yeah.
storyline wise happens in this match. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, what are we doing here? And that
All
was the
right.
other
Well,
thing.
you know,
Like, they went on last. They main evented, and I was so sure that this was going to be like, oh, like, this is a big catalyst moment for this storyline. Like, we're going to start kicking off here, like,
yeah,
because the storyline's been cruising along, and I'm fine with it cruising along because, again, it's long-term booking, it's long-term storytelling. They have a lot of time to get to this point where you know they're going to do the blood and, like, I really do think they're going to do the blood and guts. I think that's the culmination, and they usually do that during the summer. So, like, you have a good 4 or 5 months to go still. So I'm okay with them taking their time to get there, but got to move the storyline along a little bit here. And it just didn't happen. I was
yeah.
not satisfied.
I do agree. Like I said, Ruby progressed as a character, but not as the storyline she is in currently. So we'll see what happens here. I have a feeling they're going to go the route that I'm saying, where she's going to decide in the middle of a match somewhere. But I thought this was a solid episode of Dynamite. I give it like a B. You know what I mean? It's not one of the greatest I've ever seen, but it's definitely not a bad episode of Dynamite by any means.
No, not. I mean, I don't think it was bad. There's a lot of good that happened. I mean, we're on the road to Revolution. I think
Yep.
that's, there's a lot of good setup. We'll just have to, keep going.
I can't wait for that Danielson MJF match, man. Oh my goodness. What do they got set up for us on Rampage? Give us the rundown.
All right. Well, for starters, just a program note: AEW Rampage Slam Dunk is on at a special start time this Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We will be going live at 8 p.m. Eastern here for our Rampage review show. Other than that, we got for Rampage, pretty good Rampage card, actually. I'm actually pretty excited for it for the most part. We do have Daniel Garcia versus Ricky Starks. The Elite versus Top Flight and AR Fox. They're going to run it back for the Trios Championships. Jade Cargill is going to defend her TBS Championship against Vert Vixen, which I actually like Vert Vixen. Dustin Rhodes is going to take on Swerve Strickland. Announced officially for AEW Rampage. We have the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in a 60-minute Iron Man match. MJF versus Bryan Danielson. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the TNT title was announced tonight. We also have the 4-way dance for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Guns defending against the Acclaimed. And the winner of the 2 Battle Royals that'll be coming up in the next 2 weeks. John Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match has been announced as well for the pay-per-view. We have for Dynamite, John Moxley versus Evil Uno. And we also have the announcement for the first of the Revolution Tag Team Battle Royals. This one won't be the casino one. This is just a regular Battle Royal. The teams on the card listed are Best Friends, Chuck and Trent, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, the Lucha Brothers, Butcher Blade, 2.0, Reynolds and Silver, and Tony Nese and Ari Daivari.
Love me some Lucha Bros, man. I can't wait for that one.
I would probably say the Lucha Bros win that match, unless there's more that they just aren't showing. And then other than that, they say that more matches will be announced following Rampage or on Rampage for Dynamite.
Nice. Yo, real quick, I got to show this on the screen here. Eddie Kingston just tweeted out a picture of his new shirt, and this might be one of the coolest wrestling shirts I have ever seen. Like, everything about that shirt is freaking awesome. Says Eddie Kingston, live for this, die for this. It's got his zip code, the 730. It's got his necklace, like, that's his rosary. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right, man. You got anything else you wanted to go over tonight?
I think that just about covers it.
Just about covers it. All right. All right, I think that's going to do it for me as well. You want to go ahead and close us out, sir?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 118 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, please hit that like button and a subscribe as well. Would be appreciated on the way out. Please check out some of our other videos. We have our gaming podcast, the Game Room Podcast, happens on Monday nights. We talked about the Nintendo Direct that happened last week, this past Monday night. We also have our Friday Rampage show coming up again. Remember, it's going to be a special start time of 8 p.m. Eastern, immediately following Rampage. You can please follow us. Our social medias down below in the description. Rampage, or I'm sorry, not Rampage. Revolution's coming up on March 5th. We will be doing a pre and post show for that as well. We're looking forward to seeing you guys next time.
Right on. Well, as we say every Wednesday night and Friday night, see you guys next time. Top Guys, out.